Hey, Walt, I love your comment on uniforms, big man. I love that. You're old school just like me. I know you are. I love that. Show the chief that. That's old school. Now, we're going to ask Group 1. My scribe for Group 1, would you stand up, please? Group 1 scribe. All right. Can I have everyone's attention? Group 1. Group 1, would you give us the top couple of issues that you want the police department to know that they do well? Would you do that, Group 1? Everybody listen up so we can hear.
I'm sure others in the first name have something to add. I share the responsibility. There seems to be agreement that the department was making itself available to the community.
Thank you. And we will walk through these and then we will discuss. Because if we don't go through every group's top priorities, we won't make it. So we are going to ask each group to report. And then if we have any clarification on either one of those two questions, we'll talk about it. So 1 is availability to the community, and number 2 is?
Almost agreement that the response time responding to calls was a positive to the department.
Thank you. Always can be worked on, but overall it's a positive. Group 2, what is your first one?
We're doing well.
Doing well.
School resource officers and
That's
youth involvement.
School resource officers and youth involvement. The key to our future, I might add. And number 2?
Well, community resource officers was also one of us, so I guess that you can name those two together.
Okay, you're working free. I'm asking what you're doing. That's good.
Okay, community resource officers.
CROs, community resource.
And neighborhood program, familiarity with officers. They said that the neighborhood program, the officers that are out there, the neighborhood knows who they are.
So we have in Asheville, as a positive, beat officers who are known by the community.
Exactly.
Very good. That's a very strong positive. Group 3.
Okay, we had responding to calls timely.
Okay. Check. We already had that. Check.
Yeah. And you just want 2 because you had 3.
You give me 3.
Okay.
You work so hard, you get 3. Anybody get 3. You work hard.
Visible in community and with community discussion.
Visible with the community and discussing issues with the community.
Available for community meetings. That would be. Is that different than available for the community?
Available for community meetings. Okay. Number 2. You got that? I'm sorry. Number 3.
So number 3 is school resource and neighborhood liaison officers.
All right. We've got the SRO and the officers. That's the community resource. I'm bringing mine to work. Okay. Thank you, Group 3. Group 4. Where's Group 4?
Group 4, we came to consensus that the hiring of a black police chief and the SROs were what we did well.
Okay.
APD did well.
Which is diversity in the police department. Continue on with the SROs. Very good. All righty. Now we're going to take these with us, and I want you to think for a minute of all those SROs, community officers, right? People that are working hard out there. That's a nice shot in your arm. It's telling them that's what you're doing well. Keep that. Stay the course, Chief. They like hearing that. Now, a little heavy lifting. Over the next 3 years, we're going to give you a couple of recommendations from good, heartfelt conversation in this room, right? So, let's go. We'll put up some flip charts, some blanks, and we're going to go with Group 1 first. What do we need to focus on over the next 3 years to sustain where we can a good quality of life, or where to improve where it's needed? So, number 1, group number 1, what do you want the police department and our good Chief Anderson to know he needs to focus on over the next 3 years?
We're going to speak in more than 2.
I see that.
I won't get out of this room alive.
I know, good for you. Remember, the scribe's going to have to get some street credibility for how hard you work. Go right ahead.
Okay. Expand cultural and sensitivity training for all officers. Resources for drug enforcement.
Okay, first, a cultural
Cultural and sensitivity training.
Cultural sensitivity training.
Between what would be cultural competence and sensitivity training broader. And those must be expanded.
Gotcha. And you said your number 2 was?
Oh dear. Well then we may, I'm only going to be at 2.
You get 3. Go right ahead, keep going.
Okay.
Because we can synthesize them.
Hiring and retention of a more diverse workforce.
Hiring and
And I
retention.
say hiring, promotion, and retention.
Hiring, promotion, and retention of a diverse police department. Continue to work on that over the next 3 years. Okay? And your number 3?
Just consulted, and we think resources to build active police department youth program, along with other community events.
Now, can I take a personal privilege here for a moment? I love that stuff. I really do. And when I talk to communities, they really want teen centers. You know, those young teenagers want places where they can be, so.
And younger, and
I
younger,
love
and
it.
younger.
I love it. Bill, let's make sure we capture it. What was it? Youth?
Resources for youth programming.
Youth resources for specific youth programming.
And
Thank
starting, and it's fair, okay, let's clear, and we're really great, starting with young folks.
Yep.
Not waiting until they're teenagers and doing basketball.
Absolutely. We got the gist of what your group came up with. I don't want to leave without that. You got the gist, right, of the most important.
So we're going to be assured that we're going to take these sheets of
Absolutely.
paper so that
No,
the
everything goes.
issues
Yes.
will be identified.
And what we're going to do is I'm going to give everybody a couple of dots that you can even prioritize the priority. This is fun stuff. So that we leave with all this information, but you individually, once again, going to get a couple of dots to say, here's my priority, here's what I believe. Of all the good things that you're recommending that we do. Group 2.
Ours to work on minority and diversity hiring.
Got it?
Before I got up there.
Yeah.
Sensitivity training specifically on racial issues, gender issues, DD type issues, dealing with women who are victims or men who are victims, and dealing with mental health issues, responding to mental health patients, and having sensitivity training on that.
Wow, that's a major issue in the country, isn't it?
Our last one was that the community feels intimidated by APD, and one of the suggestions in our group was that there be community liaisons in the different housing neighborhoods, or even in every neighborhood, that is the community member, that other community members can go to who is in communication with APD.
So expand, so I word this right, expand the community resource officer program to include civilians in the neighborhood who can network.
Right. Someone
How's
who
that?
doesn't work for APD but is a community member.
It's a networker, somebody who's a liaison. Have we got it?
That's ours.
All right, very good. I've got an incredible scribe up here who catches it as quick as I'm moving. Now, we've got 2. Group 3.
Okay? Number 1 is hire more African Americans.
Okay, that's our diverse hiring. African Americans, the police department. Yeah, thank you. Good eyes. I'm just talking and you're paying attention.
And the group is behind me saying specifically African Americans.
Okay, let's put African Americans. Okay, got it.
Women.
Okay. Just giving her time to write.
Thank you. There you go. Because you support future.
Number 2 is to stay in compliance with North Carolina state mandated laws, policies, and procedures.
Adhere to all North Carolina mandatory state policies and procedures and regulations.
Go ahead and you want to clarify, right?
Thought we said we were to they stay in compliance with the policies and procedures of the Asheville Police Department.
You did, but the state policy oversees. Okay, so then let's just
But
add
I right.
to include
Oh, I think, yeah.
local policy.
local policies, but the Asheville Police Department's policies and procedures.
Exactly.
I think that's, you may be covering it, but go ahead and say it, that's what's important. I agree.
So that's okay? We have it right now? Okay. And
That seems like that captures what we were trying to say.
is that okay?
Adhere to all state policies,
Okay,
procedures,
it's okay.
and APD.
Thank you.
And number 3, develop and apply interpersonal skills with accountability. And how we came up with that is because we were focusing on some of the, and I don't want to use the incorrect word, but the newly hired officers were coming in and they may need to develop their interpersonal skills.
Okay. So my job is to synthesize with you. So over the next few years, continue to work to develop the interpersonal skills and communication skills of, in particular, the new officers. Because we're all seeing the new generation kind of used to blogging and typing, and we want to make sure that they've got those communication and interpersonal skills. Is that fair? All right. Very good. Thank you, Group 3. Group 4.
Okay, we talked about communication of protocol and procedures through workshops, and specifically focusing on how to get the immigrant, the African American, and youth populations more knowledgeable about how to interact with the Asheville Police Department.
Can I go into detail about that? A little further? Sarah?
Mr. Mann.
What our group was speaking to is that we're thinking that by creating these workshops, we will inform the youth and with black males along with brown males and females as well. But you're educating them on how, like when they are confronted by APD, on how the do's and the don'ts. So if you're confronted by a police officer, you don't reach for nothing because you might get shot. So it's just creating those type of workshops, but also having a community to be a part of possibly conducting those workshops and putting them out to the great.
I like that. That's a great idea, particularly the latter part about having the community host those types of workshops. So we're succinct. You're saying you want minority groups, communities of color, particularly young people, to be provided with training, education, and experience as to how to interact with the police, and not to avoid any type of conflict.
Right.
I'm with you. I hear it. I got it.
Police chief, I would like to add one thing to that.
Sure.
I also want the people to be aware that it's not just about African Americans, it's about being inclusive. There's people that only speak one language.
I just said something.
I'm not really attacking you. I'm just making it a little wider on how there is over 15,000 people in Buncombe County alone that only speak Spanish. There is also a strong Ukrainian community here. What is the APD doing there? I don't want them to be forgotten and to be overlooked. We've been overlooked for a long time. We're here. We're not going anywhere.
We got it. And make sure it's diverse and that everyone has it. And I don't want to, and I like how you said that it's not a distraction. You have a wonderful idea. But you want to make sure.
It's like the brown and black.
Very good. And thank you for offering to build on that a bit. Back to you.
We also talked about social and cultural trainings, but wanted to talk about economic issues. So it's also about incomes of low wealth and immigration status and race, and to improve sensitivity of patrol officers. There we talked about stopping stereotyping, and all of this would help improve the reputation of APD overall. So kind of check on that.
Okay.
Addition
of socioeconomic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, including socioeconomic status as well. Okay.
And now.
No, wait.
Sorry, forgive me.
Wait, one more, or two more. Sorry, you let it. You told us.
Oh, you just kept going. Forgive me, folks. They strong on me. I know. They get one more. You're going to go back. Are you going to let her? She had a couple of redundant ones. Got to be good. Little street.
Community watch. So in those community watch programs, treating all communities the same. So there was discussion as to why Biltmore Estate neighborhood may be treated different than Southside.
So with regard to community watch, the statement is to expand community watch to be more inclusive.
Yeah. And the fourth one was rapid response teams being created when tragedies occur in our community, so that we can have a community-wide approach to helping solve those.
And when we say rapid response, we mean our clergy, our people in the community that can come together. And that's, that's something that I'm sure we have some members from the Chiefs Advisory Committee here that would be able to facilitate some of that.
You know, some of the families are saying that the way that they find out is either in the Citizen Times, WLOS.
Right.
And after an initial incident happens, there's no follow-up to let anyone know what the conclusion or resolution of any of this was.
Give you a call and say, call me.
Gotcha. No, it's good stuff. Heartfelt. Now it gets a little fun. Ready? I'm going to give each person 2 dots. And these are all good items we're leaving, and we're leaving with the flip charts of the work product. You with me? Everything's coming. But I'm going to give you 2 dots. You look at this list, and I'm going to go over them pretty quick, or I'll ask you to just review them pretty quickly. You have 2 dots so that we know that these are the priorities, but you personally say, these are the top 2 for me. And so that when we leave, not only do we have great information, you've helped me prioritize it. How's that sound? So when we finish writing, would you mind just going over each one? Sure. And then pay close attention so that you put your dots right below whichever one you want it to be. Oh, and no 2 dots on one I'm going to watch. 2 dots. One on each. What do you consider your top 2 priorities?
Okay, so under the next 3 years, what we'd like to see the police department focus on, we've got cultural and sensitivity training, general improvements in that area, specifically racial, gender, mental health, and socioeconomic groups. So making sure that those are the subject matter of those trainings. Next, hire, promote, and retain diverse department, specifically African American. Resources for youth programs, especially the very young. Expanding the community policing program to include civilian liaisons. Adhere to all state policies and procedures, and within that, certainly APD's own policies and procedures. Accountability for interpersonal skills, especially training opportunities, especially with younger officers. Educating minority groups along with the community on how to interact with police and avoid conflict. Certainly recognizing language barriers in the group that we focus on. Community watch, expand community watches and treat equally. I feel like I got distracted. Is that what we were aiming for there? Do we want to expand them and then make sure that all the different groups throughout the city are treated equally?
We have equal enforcement of the law.
Okay.
Is that part of good going with it? I don't see why not.
Do we feel like that is different? I should ask the group. Do we feel like equal enforcement of the law is different than adhering to all policies and procedures?
Yes.
No.
Equally, equal.
We just said equal enforcement of
Equal
the law.
enforcement.
But it's condemned.
Equal enforcement, which is equal treatment under the
Yeah.
law. For all people.
Treatment. Okay, great. All right.
Wonderful Constitution.
And then the last one that we haven't talked about is the rapid response team for crisis and serious events that happen in the community. And the point being there's some kind of follow up. So it's just not the incident, but then
To help mediate, I'm
that
sure,
can
too.
help the community work through whatever it is.
Okay, we've got just 2. I'm going to go with 2 comments before I give everybody their dots, because these 2 gentlemen have been patient. We'll go with 2 more comments, and then I'm going to give you your dots. Please look at that list for me. Yes, sir.
I have a question you have where the word adhere to all state. Can you change that word to compliance to all state policies, procedures, and
Comply with?
compliance? That seems like a little bit heavier than adhere.
Is your group, anybody with that one have an issue with compliance? No. We just got to make sure it's fair. Thank you, sir. The court recognizes compliance.
I could explain again what the purpose of the red dots are.
The red dots are, these are all important. These are the high priorities from the brain trust that's here. But we also like to give people one last opportunity to say, of all that we've talked about that you're leaving with, hey, I believe you should pay particular attention to this. Because what we have found is there's so much to work on. And this is what the police officers did as well. With all the issues, what do you want to make sure, from your perspective, the chief hears the loudest? That's why we do that. Yes, and then, that's what life is. That's the list at home. You have 10 things to do. You do the top 2 or 3, you have a much better way to go. I can tell someone who smiles who likes lists. I can tell that. And it's important to prioritize. That's why we do that. Thank you, sir.
Would there be in this process, and then you go to the first question asked this evening, an opportunity for members of the community to meet with officers in the department before this is put into a plan, to have some dialogue among officers and community members about these priority lists?
Sure, but that would be with the chief. The chief would have his team that's orchestrating and leading the plan based on that feedback. He would be the one to invite even further input. Okay?
So what happens to the rest of them that don't, that they get the rest of them on the back?
Well, they're all on the list. They're all considered, and they're part of what we're going to look at as strategic planners. But what has happened, the officers, citizens have often reported, it's that one more time that you have to say, of all the items up there, from my experience, this is my priority. It doesn't lessen any, sir. It just makes sure that we don't miss paying attention to these issues. Thank you. Yes?
Since we just have 2 dots, the young lady here, what we wanted to ask you, if it would be okay to include equal enforcement treatment under the compliance.
Yes. Did everybody hear that? That's part of brainstorming. Can we not lose it, but put it under another one? Well, certainly you can. You just have to agree to do it. That's your Julie. You agree? All right.
So we'll put it in parentheses to make sure it's not lost.
Yeah,
That
perfect.
was something that was a part of this bigger point.
It's a very good point. Now, ladies and gentlemen, and please, thank you so much for that question. Nothing gets lost, but this is your moment to say, hey, here's a big emphasis on this. And then, Chief, right after we do that, sir, we're going to turn it over to you. But we will do it orderly so as not to run over a little guy like me standing up. That's okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Just wherever you think that you just want to make sure we don't miss anything that she feels is important. I'm going to start. You can just work your way up there, folks, when you're ready. Just go right ahead. Well, only 2. Thank you so very much. Great work. I turn the table over to very good Chief Manager. Back to you.
I just want to say how much I appreciate everybody coming out this evening. I know it was warm in here.
Yes, but Chief. I'm sweating that first fire.
I guess we been like you. But really appreciate everybody coming out. I think this is some really good work. Some really good things that's been identified that can be part of this plan. And once we get everything down, we may have another community meeting just to kind of go over that, because I did hear some discussions about that and get your input further. But I just want to thank all of you for coming out and helping us out with this plan. And everybody have a good evening. Appreciate it.
We